Hello.
Hi, Heather.
How are you?
Fine, and yourself?
Good. What is behind you?
So, we talked about this the last show, as well as other shows, because this can be seen where I normally have the camera. This is a really old video slot machine. It doesn't even have a title, as far as I know, but it's made by IGT, and I thought I would play it a little bit for the show. So, as you can see, it has four reels. It is supposed to be a three-line game, but I can only get one of the lines to work. And and it pays in both directions. The pay tape was here. I don't know if you can see it. I can tell there's some glare, so I apologize for that. But there's a coin, and this literally has a handle. There's not a button. You must pull the handle. So I didn't win anything there. So I won two there for the cherry on the right. Like I said, it pays left to right. And by the way, I don't know if you can see this, but there's these little comments at the top. Like it says, I'm loose as a goose. Don't quit
Oh,
now.
oh my.
How sweet it is. When you're hot, you're hot.
It's so strange seeing a coin-operated machine.
So one thing I don't like about it is that, like I said, it's supposed to be a three-line game, but if you put in one coin, any additional coins just seem to vanish. That doesn't buy the player anything. So there it is. If anyone's seriously interested, I would be open to selling it. Fair warning, it is really heavy. It has a big cathode ray tube in here and all kinds of heavy parts. And let me show you what it looks like inside. This is what the inside of an old slot machine looks like. So this part here is where all the coins are. And there's like this rotating thing that will dispense the correct amount of coins. And you've got circuit boards in here, and frankly, I don't know most of what this stuff does, but yeah, there is my slot machine. I don't know much else to say about it. And now let me turn the camera back to the normal location.
That's really interesting. How much did you want to sell that for?
I'm thinking that somewhere in the $500,000 range would be fair.
Okay.
But when I move, I'm just gonna get rid of it to whoever will pay the most, including giving it away for free, because it is so heavy. I do not want to move that thing again.
So it's something where they have to come and pick it up?
Yep. A U-Haul kind of thing. So I forgot to say Feliz Cinco de Mayo. And to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, we are going to have some trivia on Mexico.
Ooh, awesome. I thought you were going to say May the 4th be with you, and we were going to do Star Wars trivia.
Nope. Today is May the 5th. So we're celebrating Cinco de Mayo.
Missed it by one day.
But if we ever do a live stream on May the 4th, we will be sure to do Star Wars trivia.
I'm really looking forward to that. Okay. So before we do the trivia, if you guys have a question that you want to ask Mike, please put it in the chat and we will go through it in the order that it was received. Yes, Mike, what is the first trivia question?
So the first trivia question is, on what day of the year do they celebrate Independence Day in Mexico?
So if you guys know the answer to that, put that in the chat. And while we are waiting, we do have a few questions from our viewers.
Okay.
Mo the cat is more of a comment. He says, happy Kentucky Derby weekend. Here is my pick, free of charge. Long shot number 4, Summer is Tomorrow. I love the names that they give these horses.
Okay. If I'm in the casino, I will throw a small wager on that in your honor.
And our next question is from Ayav. What video poker game do you play?
You know, if I'm playing video poker, it's going to be the best pay table that I can find, which often is 8-5 bonus poker. And to that, you might say, Wiz, that has a return of only 99.12%. Why would you play that? But I would play it if I was getting a lot of points. For example, the station casinos sometimes have 10 times point days, and a point there is worth 1/6 of 1% if spent on comps, which since I live here, I can easily do. So if you were to value the comps at full value, you take 99.12 and then you add to the value of that 0.0167 in comps, and you get a return of 100.79%, which is pretty good. Not to mention the value of the mail, which I don't get any more from them because I'm on their DNI list. But that would be a reason why you might see me playing video poker.
Okay, sounds very cool. And what is and then for the answer to the trivia question, people said, was it September 16th?
Yes. Who said that?
Ooh, PJ Strong was first, followed by Sean.
Okay. And here's my follow-up question. If that is the Independence Day of Mexico, what do we celebrate? What is the reason for celebrating Cinco de Mayo? What happened on May the 5th?
I thought it was to drink beer.
But there needs to be some kind of a hook to it, some kind of a reason.
Does there really need to be a reason to drink?
Yes. I mean, like St. Patrick's Day. I mean, everyone uses that for an excuse to drink a lot of beer. But nevertheless, there must be something that happened on March 17th. In fact, is that the day that St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland? Something like that. There's got to be some sort of something that started the whole thing, even if it wasn't a very important thing, or even if it is just a legend.
So if you guys know, put that answer in the chat. And while we were waiting for you guys to answer, our next question comes from Joshua. I love his question. What is your fastest time on a 3x3 Rubik's Cube? I recorded myself at 28 seconds.
28 seconds, that is quite good. I was at my prime when I was in high school. And back then, my average time was probably around 70 seconds. And my best time, I seem to recall getting about 50 seconds once. Today, it's probably closer to 2 minutes because my hands aren't as fast as they used to be. But yeah, and so I totally know that 2 minutes or even 1 minute is nothing to boast about, because there are kids today that can solve it in an average time of like 7 seconds. And, but nevertheless, it's not so much that I brag about how fast I can solve the Rubik's Cube. I just love the mathematics of it. And I love puzzles, and I am a big Rubik's Cube buff. In fact, I think you might see my Rubik's Cube wall behind me. Let me show that to you guys. So this is actually a magic trick. It's called the Rubik's Wall, and it has real Rubik's Cubes in it. And I would love to be able to do magic for you guys, but it just wouldn't transcend this video format very well. But the gist of that magic trick is I could let the people in the audience pull out the Rubik's Cubes, solve them, put them back in, and on the back side of it would be a design. No matter how many cubes the people took out, put in, and they can replace them in different locations. And I'm eager to do it. So my problem is I don't have anyone to do magic tricks for. So anyway.
We need to make like a conference or some kind of convention where people can come and like meet you in person, and you could do like magic tricks
I would
and
be happy
juggling,
to.
and
I
that
mean,
would be fun.
one bad thing about kind of my circle of friends is they are horrible to do magic tricks to. They're all these just skeptical professional gamblers, and they will analyze a magic trick to death. And frankly, they're pretty good at it. But magicians like it when people are entertained by the magic trick. The point of magic is not to like fool people or to figure out how the magic trick is done. It's just entertainment.
Mm.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of my dilemma with magic right now.
It makes sense. Well, one day we will have that conference, and we will gather non-analytical people who just want to watch a good show.
Most of my friends and fans are so analytical.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you shoot yourself in the foot.
Yep. Yep.
Are you ready for the answer to the trivia question?
Yes. What happened on May the 5th?
Did they defeat the French?
I would prefer more detail, but that is true.
They took out the French?
Again, I would prefer a little more information, but you're on the right track.
They were French toast.
I like the play on words there. Okay. So yes, May 5th was the date of the first Battle of Puebla, where Mexico defeated France in just one battle. It wasn't a whole war. And France came back and then beat Mexico in the second Battle of Puebla. So this battle was not especially significant. Mexico eventually won that war. France was trying to, if not overthrow Mexico, at least seize part of it. And but in Mexico, they do not make a big deal about Cinco de Mayo. It's just another battle. But Cinco de Mayo sounds so much better than 16 de septiembre. That's quite a mouthful. So Cinco de Mayo, that sounds so nice. And plus it's 5/5, the date, which is two prime numbers. Very, very elegant. Yeah. So there you go. The next trivia question is...
Before you get to the next trivia question, okay. I just wanted to point out, one of our viewers thought that it was because there was a sinking of a ship that was full of mayonnaise headed for Mexico, and that's why they called it Cinco de Mayo.
Very funny.
What's
yes, you get points for humor, but none for accuracy.
What's the next trivia question?
But it's funny. That reminds me of yesterday's Final Jeopardy question, which was, how did they word it? They said there was a song about this particular Civil War battle, and it mentioned something about I don't remember the exact wording, but it could be interpreted that the North would have won this battle. And the answer was Antietam. And because there was a song that said that I don't remember the lyric, but it was something about, it had something to do with the play on words between Antietam and Beatem. Like maybe someone in the peanut gallery can look it up. But I got that one right despite not knowing much about it.
Oh, cool. Right on. When you first said that, you said it was a song. The first thing that popped in my head was, I know that song. This is the song that never ends. Goes on and on, my friends. So what is that trivia question?
Okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it my turn or a turn for an answer?
I think it's your turn to ask the trivia question.
Okay, the question is, what breed of dog is named after a state in Mexico?
Oh, okay. So if you guys know, put that in the chat. While we are waiting, we have another question from our viewer. A while ago, I asked if you thought if AI has surpassed humans in poker and Texas Hold'em. Do you know anything more about it these days? And what are your thoughts on it? It seems like GTO is getting more and more popular.
Yeah, I have no new information on that. Not that I ever had much to begin with. But I certainly find it an interesting topic. It's my understanding that computers can now play a perfect one-on-one game in poker with a structured kind of betting pattern. I'm not positive about that, but if we're not at the day where the best computer can beat the best human poker, I'm pretty sure that we're not far away from it. And that's about the best I can do with that one. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you want to go on to another question?
Okay.
Okay. Do you personally know any slot APs, and do you appreciate the cat and mouse game that the casinos and the APs play?
I absolutely know a lot of machine advantage players. That's what I think most advantage players are doing these days. At least it's like a major part of their bag of tricks. And it's something I've been writing a lot about at Wizard of Odds, if you follow that. Currently, I'm analyzing the game Magic of the Nile. This is a topic I could talk about all day long. But most APs I know either only do slots, or probably it's like half of what they do, and the other half might be a mixture of promotional play or maybe some table game advantage play, something like that. But if you're an advantage player and you're not at least looking at slot machines, then I think you should be, because this is not going to be. It's already getting to the point where too many people know about it, and it's not so good anymore. But yeah, and the second part was about, do I appreciate the cat and mouse game? Absolutely, I appreciate that with every game. I totally believe that the gambling, the casino should explain what the rules are, and then let the player play as best as he possibly can, subject to the rules. And I take no side in the AP versus casino fight. I am just in favor of truthful information, and the casinos have the right to protect themselves, and the players have the right to play as best as they can. That said, may the better side win.
Yeah. And to add on to that too, sometimes the cat and mouse game is beneficial financially for the casinos. A good example of this is Blackjack. It wasn't very popular in the 30s, 40s, 50s, that type of a thing. And then once Edward Thorpe came along and wrote the book Beat the Dealer, and they had card counting, then that cat and mouse game began, and you saw a huge increase in popularity. Most people couldn't card count worth anything, so the casinos ended up making a lot of money off of this.
To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not convinced that the reason Blackjack became popular was because of Beat the Dealer. It might be. I tend to think that it was only a minor effect, but I was much under the age of 21 at the time, so I'm not really sure.
Oh, you don't have that's what my next question was going to be. What is your opinion on why Blackjack became so popular then?
I think that every generation there's a new leading game in popularity. So I mean, it was Faro for a long time, and then it was poker. And then we had Blackjack, and then we had poker again, and then there was video poker. I should have put video poker before the second poker phase. So I tend to think that players were just hungry for something new, and Blackjack is just, I think, the right degree of complexity. It's easy to explain what the rules are. Most of the time, the right play is pretty obvious, and but who knows why players like what they like? I'm just a mathematician. I'm not a psychologist.
But we do see that. You're absolutely correct. We see trends, and I don't really want to say the word, but it's sort of fitting. We see fads where people are really interested in one game versus the other. Right now, for example, high card flush is very popular. Same with Ultimate Texas Hold'em.
To be honest, I don't see a whole lot of high card flush out there.
Oh yeah, is it starting to lose popularity?
I don't think it was ever really popular. I think at most it may have had several placements around Vegas. Seems like right now the hot game is face-up Pai-Gow poker.
No, okay.
Okay, but let's move on.
Cool. We have answers to your trivia question. Was it a Chihuahua?
Yes, it was the Chihuahua.
Woo! Very nice.
Okay. So, okay, here's the next question. Where in Mexico did the Virgin Mary make an appearance?
Okay, so if you guys know the answer to that, put that in the chat. While we are waiting, our next question comes from our viewer, William. William says, why don't you have any way to learn the basics of progressive video poker? Is there a way to learn the basics of progressive video poker?
I'm not sure I understand the question, but my website has tons of material on video poker strategy. You can put in any pay table you want, and it will generate a strategy. As far as I know, this is the only place on the internet where you can do that for free. So I am really, really proud of the material that my site has on video poker. Now, what about progressives? There's not a great deal of difference in strategy between a progressive and a non-progressive game. In my opinion, let's say we're talking about 9-6 double-double bonus, for example. Just learn that strategy, and if it's a progressive, great. I don't think that you need to memorize a different strategy to play a progressive game. Now, a perfectionist might say, Wiz, if the progressive is above this, then you would play 3 to a royal over 4 to a flush with these exact cards. And yes, I'm sure you would be right, but these changes in strategy, according to the amount of the progressive, give the player such a minute increase in return, like 0.01%, that to that I would just say, don't bother. So that is what I have to say on that one. Okay.
Do you want to do another question, or should we see if people answered?
Let's see if people answered.
Sounds good. So was it Mexico City?
Pretty close.
Guadalupe.
Yeah, Guadalupe is what I was looking for. So as the legend goes, the Virgin Mary made an appearance in what at the time was a small town of Guadalupe, and I won't go into the whole story, but it was approved by the Catholic Church that yes, indeed, the Virgin Mary did make an appearance in the village of Guadalupe, and to this day, Mexico City really kind of expanded so much that it now seems like just a part of Mexico City. You do have to take, and I've been there. I had to take kind of a long bus ride to get there, but yes, indeed, I'll accept either answer, Guadalupe or Mexico City. And by the way, that's why you see so many women named Lupe or Guadalupe here in Las Vegas, because they're basically named after the Virgin Mary of Guadalupe.
Did not know that. That's very interesting. So okay. What is our next trivia question?
So the next trivia question is, what should I ask you guys? This is more of a Spanish language question than about Mexico. But what is the root origin of the words tomato, chocolate, and avocado? Where do these words come from? From which language?
So if you guys know the answer to that, put that in the chat. While we are waiting, our next question comes from the Blind Beard. It's 3 parts. The first part says, Mike, you are amazing. I love your videos and they're so educational.
Thank you.
Question is, I am legally blind and I love to play craps, but they move so fast. Is there anything I can do to explain certain dealers that I am visually impaired and I have trouble?
I have never been asked that one before. I would absolutely ask the dealers to say, I'm blind, and can you help me make my bets, and just help me out. And I think that you're going to get much better service if there's not many other players there. And yeah, just ask. That's my answer. And I think that a lot of casinos, especially if they're not really busy, will fall all over themselves trying to be helpful to you.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Mike. When I used to deal table games, it was normal for blind people to come and play on the tables. We would just, be on craps, and we would have the person right next to the craps dealer and just tell the dealer, yeah, that you are blind. And he will, or she will tell you, what bets are out there, where your bets are. If you have any questions, they'll answer them. They're very, very helpful when it comes to that type of a situation.
Okay. Yeah, very good.
Cool. Okay, so answer to the trivia question was what?
Do we have anything?
Is it Tijuana?
Tijuana is not a language.
Mayan.
Mayan is closer to what I'm looking for. Anything else?
That's it.
Mayan is pretty close. So I believe that even before the Mayans, there was a no. Before the Mayans were the Aztecs, and this is basically an Aztec word. The name of the Aztec language, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's something like it's spelled Nahuatl, and these are Aztec words for these things: avocados, chocolate, and what was the other one? Tomatoes. And so, as usual with language, if there's something that there's just no translation for, then you just keep the word the same. So they're basically Aztec words.
That's really interesting.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay. And on the topic of languages, where do these words come from? Alfombra, which means carpet, almendera, which means almond, and almohada, which means pillow.
So if you guys know the answer to that, put that in the chat. While we are waiting, we have another question from a viewer. This one is from Joshua. Do you have any update on Shuffle Master's U-Turn Blackjack? I've dealt it for friends a couple times, and this seems like a fun game.
I've got nothing on that at all. I'm sorry.
Okay. Next question is, do you know any Baccarat players?
Not really. The kind of Baccarat is just a game of luck, and most people I tend to know either don't gamble at all or they're advantage players, in which case there's seldom an advantage to be found in Baccarat. So I can't say that I know too many people that are real serious about Baccarat. Some of them will kind of dink around at it because they like it, but none of them that seriously.
Okay.
So sorry for that.
No problem. One more question, since they were short. What do you think of the Las Vegas police wanting to consider pedestrian bridges as crosswalks? In other words, keep moving and no stopping.
I didn't know about that. If this was a way to get rid of people that are begging on the bridges, I would applaud that. I would not like it if the police hassled people just taking a picture on the bridge. But yeah, I tend to think the real reason for that is you see people sleeping and begging on the pedestrian bridges, and if making them technically crosswalks, and that gave the police the authority to make these people leave, I would be in favor of that.
Have you heard about the congressman who wants to close the Las Vegas Boulevard and have it be for pedestrians only?
I didn't. To be honest, for me, I would like that because I'm an avid bicyclist, and um, I would just love to see that happen, but it never will. You and I both know it. So, yeah, what can I say? I haven't heard that anyone is even seriously talking about that.
Yeah. So there are no answers to your trivia question. Do you want to do another gambling question, or do you want to give the answer?
Okay, I'll just give the answer. Those words are Arabic in origin. And,
okay.
And how did these Arabic words get absorbed into the Spanish language? It's because the Moors occupied Spain from 711 to 1492. And so during this time, when the Moors or the Arabs occupied Spain, just a lot of Arab words for things that weren't endemic, if that's the right word, to Spain got absorbed into the language. And so there you go. Those are ultimately Arabic words.
Cool.
And let me show you another thing.
Ooh.
Since we're honoring Mexico today, let me show you my license plates from Mexico. And I'll try to do this fast, but I'm proud to say I have one from every state. So this one is from Agua Calientes, which means hot water. This is from Baja California Sur, or Southern Baja. That was a tough one to get, by the way. This one is from Tlaxcala. This one is from Northern Baja California, which they just call Baja California. Here's another one from just Baja. Here's another one from Southern Baja. Chihuahua, Chiapas, Coahuila. Another one from Coahuila. Colima. The district, the federal district, or the Distrito Federal. And by the way, you might ask, what is this thing in the middle of it? Mexico City looks very European, and they have all these roundabouts, which they call glorietas in Mexico City. And usually at the middle of one, there's a big, I'm not sure what the term for it is, but like a big column with a statue on top. And there's a famous one with this particular statue in a very busy part of Mexico City with lots of skyscrapers. And I've been to the top of it, by the way. Durango. Here's another style of Durango. Guerrero. Guanajuato. Hidalgo. Jalisco, famous for agave cactuses, which are used to make tequila. The Estado de Mexico. So Mexico not only has Mexico City, but there's the state of Mexico and then the whole country of Mexico. Michoacan, Morales, Nayarit, Nuevo Leon, which means new lion, but I think it's a reference to the city of Leon in Spain. Oaxaca, Puebla, Quintana Roo, Querétaro, if I'm pronouncing it right. And I like this one. It just has a simple Q in the middle. Quintana Roo again. San Luis Potosi. By the way, there's also a Mount Potosi quite close to Las Vegas. Sinaloa, Sonora, another front Sonora, Tabasco. Now you might ask, Wiz, is that where we get Tabasco sauce? The answer is surprisingly no. Tabasco, the brand of hot sauce called Tabasco sauce, and again, that's just a brand name, that is actually from Louisiana. And I think they call it that because I think the family that made that is called Tabasco, but about that, I'm not positive. There's another Tabasco. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. There's another one. Tlaxcala, Veracruz, another style of Veracruz. The Yucatan, this one was a difficult one to get, by the way. And finally, Zacatecas. And there you go. There we have my passenger license plates from Mexico. And I also have one motorcycle license plate from every state in Mexico, except one, which I have been working for like 20 years to get.
Which one is that?
Oh boy, I was afraid you'd ask. I think, oh boy. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. It's like when I get ready to go to a license plate meet, I refresh my memory and bring lists of what I need. But every time I go there, and there will be people there that specialize in Mexico plates, and I ask them, do you have a motorcycle plate from blah, blah, blah? They always just shake their heads. Nope, that's a tough one, man.
Well, you blew my mind with those, because now we know the secret location of Q. So, mind blown.
Is that some kind of anime joke that went over my head?
No, it's a political joke that went over your head.
Oh, are you talking about QAnon?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember they were looking for Q? You found Q. It could be a Star Trek joke too.
I don't even want to talk about QAnon, so let's leave it at that.
Okay, are you ready for
Yes, we're overdue for a gambling question.
Sounds good. Next gambling question comes from Sean. Do you know what the casino win limits are measured in? Is it standard deviation or dollar amount? As in, doesn't matter what game is.
Do you understand what he's asking?
The casino win limits are measured in dollar amount. So you'll have a table minimum, maximum that will state what the limits are on the table. That's my
common
interpretation.
knowledge, but I don't think that's what he's asking.
In that
Sean,
case,
why don't
no
you try
good.
to rephrase your question and I'll try to answer it.
Okay, next question is, do you think there is a better advantage to play live poker as opposed to playing poker with a machine?
Well, they're completely different games. They have completely different skill sets. One can be an outstanding player at one or the other and completely suck at the other one. So if someone said to me, Wiz, I want to be an advantage player, do you recommend video poker or live poker? And it really depends upon the person. Is the person, video poker is very mathematical. It requires a lot of memorization. It probably suits people that like to be left alone and can sit there and stare at a machine for hours at a time, where live poker obviously it suits people that are good at reading people and like the psychological element of the game. So there's no easy answer to that. It depends upon what are your strengths and weaknesses. But both of them are potential advantage plays, although video poker is getting really tough to make money in anymore.
Okay.
That's about as good as I can do with that one.
Sounds good. Now, I don't think we asked a trivia question because I don't see any answers at the bottom.
Okay, how about what is depicted no, let me go to another one. That's a good one. What is the official language of Mexico?
Oh, okay. So if you guys know the answer, put that in the chat. And while we are waiting, we have another question from PJ Strong. On your craps website, you list the house edge per bet made, house edge per bet resolved, and house edge per roll. Can you please explain the differences and how to apply them?
Okay. Yes, indeed, I do that. So you might ask the question, like, what is the house advantage on the place bet on a 6? And the answer to that is going to depend upon whether or not you sit there and wait for the bet to be resolved, in which case it's 1.52%, or if you count it as a bet where the player did not resolve the bet with a 6 or a 7. Like, let's say he rolled a 5. If you count that as a push, then the house edge is significantly less. And so it gets kind of inconsistent when you're talking about the house advantage in craps, because I might say that the house advantage is 1.41% on the pass line, but it takes many rolls to resolve that bet. Whereas the house advantage on, say, the field bet is either 5.56 or 2.78%, according to how much you win on the 12. But that's always resolved in one single roll. So it can be kind of unfair to pit the house advantage of one bet against the other, when some of them you get to enjoy for many rolls, and other ones is it's one roll and it's done. So I list them every way on that one particular page. So if it's per bet made, then it means that that once you make a wager, what percentage of money of that wager can you expect to lose? If it's per roll, then I take that number and divide it by how many rolls that bet is expected to last, which is going to significantly lower the house advantage on bets like the pass, where it takes many bets to resolve. And if it's per bet resolve, the only case where I think that matters is on the don't pass bet, where if the come out roll is a 12, it's a push. Now, does that count as a bet resolved or not? In the way I quote the house advantage at 1.36%, I do count it as a bet resolved, which I admit is inconsistent to how I treat the place bets and hardway bets, but it's because it's just that 1 in 36 event that I just do it that way to be consistent with the pass bet. So probably you guys got confused by that, but that's basically kind of my calculus is why I explain it all three ways. And before I had that page, people would ask me why I explained it inconsistently from one bet to the other. So I made that page to satisfy people. So when they asked me that, I could say, look at this page if you want to see how it's defined, whichever way you prefer. So that's about as good as I can do with that one. Okay.
And if you have players out there who are new and don't exactly know which one to pick, which one do you think they should focus on?
Make the line bets and take the odds. So stick to the pass, don't pass, come and don't come, and then back them up with the odds. That's how I recommend playing craps.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's see if we have any answers to our trivia question. Was it Spanish?
Nope.
Ooh. Was it English?
Nope.
Ooh, okay. That's pretty much it. It's either Spanish or English.
It was kind of a trick question. They have no official language, much like the United States has no official language.
Oh. We don't have an official language?
Nope.
I'm surprised. Okay.
Nope. At the federal level, there is no official language.
Wow. Cool. Okay, so what is our next trivia question?
By the way, before we get to that, I wanted to show you guys something I've been working on lately. So how do we do it to share the screen? Do I do that on my end?
I can do Yeah, so if you look down, you'll see share, and then you could share screen. I'll see it pop up, and then we could put it up here. There we go. Okay, I am
Do you
putting
see
it
my
up.
screen? Okay.
Yep. Infinity.
So,
Forever.
let's put Wizard of
and ever.
Oz. What's new? And I'm clicking on Smarty Pants 6. So for people that like Wordle, this will seem immediately familiar. But this is a word game. So let's play around with the audience. So somebody pick a number between 1 and 100. Anyone? Can you hear me, Heather?
There is no one yet, but there might be a delay. So
Heather, you give me a number from 1 to 100.
There we go. 52.
Okay. So I'm putting in 52 here. And now the object of this game is to pick, is to find the hidden or the secret 6-letter word. So to do that, it's kind of like Mastermind. So if somebody could give me any 6-letter word, we'll get started, preferably with 6 different letters.
So put your 6-letter word in the chat. The first one I see, I'll pull up. I guess it takes a second for people to think of 6-letter words.
Yeah, I know there's a delay.
That too. I could think of some words, but they're probably not appropriate for the screen time. Almond.
Okay. So I'm going to put in almond. Click score. And you can see that the AGOT is in yellow and the D is in green.
Okay.
So that tells us that the secret word ends in a D and that there is an A in there somewhere, but it's not in the first position.
Okay.
So if somebody can give me another guess, preferably that has a D at the end and an A in there somewhere, I will put that in as turn number 2.
How about packed? P-A-C-K-E-D.
Okay. Okay, so that tells us that the A is also not in the second position, which narrows it down to the 3rd, 4th, or 5th, and there is an E in there somewhere, but it's not in the 5th position.
Okay.
So if you or somebody could give me a 6-letter word that has an A and an E and a D at the end, we'll try again.
Okay, sounds good. We have a couple more words in the chat, but none of them meet those specifications. So
they don't have to meet the specifications. It's just going to help you do better.
In that case, let's do sloth. S-L-O-U-T-H. Ooh, someone picked a good one.
That's, well, slouth, S-L-O-U-T-H, is not a legitimate word.
Okay, here's a good one.
Okay.
This is a good one. Wizard.
Okay, good one.
It's a good one.
Very good one. Okay, so that tells us that there's an R in there somewhere. And the A, we have it narrowed down now to the 3rd or the 5th letter. And we also know there is no W, I, or Z. And we already know there's no L, any of the letters that are in white. And you can see at the bottom of the screen the letters that we've tried.
This is fun. I'm really enjoying this. Okay.
Yeah, I find it addicting.
What about reared? R-E-A-R-E-D.
Reared. Let's try. We're getting closer. So that narrows down the location of the A. The A must be in the 5th position because we've tried everything else. And so we still need to find 2 more letters, or there's a duplicate between the 4 that we've already found. Okay. So give me another one.
Do you want any word, or do you want one with an A-A-D, ending in A-D?
Well, you guys, whatever the peanut gallery, the first legitimate peanut gallery guess we'll go with.
It is rained, R-A-I-N-E-D.
Rained. Let's try. Nope. So let's try to think of something that has an A in the 5th position.
So it ends with A-D.
Yes.
Okay. So if you guys know, put that in the chat. We already did peanut. I believe we did
was
peanut.
not the best of guesses because we already knew from turn 4 there was not an R in the 1st position. We knew from turn 2 there was not an A in the 2nd position. We knew from turn 3 there's no I at all. We knew from turn 1 there's no N at all, and we knew from turn 4 that there's no E in the 5th position. Okay, so give me another one, preferably that ends in AD.
We don't have any that end in AD at the moment. Nobody's thinking of anything, but I do have another word that might help.
Okay.
Is it peanut? Well, I know it's not peanut. I feel like I'm playing Jeopardy where I have to phrase it in a form of a question.
Well, let's see what peanut gives us. Yeah, that doesn't, well, that eliminates the P as a possibility. No, we already eliminated that from packed in turn 2. So that's not really getting us much closer. So we have 2 more turns, you guys.
How about spaced?
I would really like to see a word that ends in AD.
Yeah, come on, you guys, give us something that ends in AD. Can you think of any words that end in AD? Because I'm having trouble thinking of words that end in AD.
Well, I mean, I wrote this thing, so
so you know.
Yeah, I am like the host here, so I don't want to influence you guys. I would love to see you get it on your own.
Okay. How about a thinker? Thinkar.
Well, thinker is spelled with an ER at the end.
How about this? Gonad. Oh, but that's not 6 letters. We need 6 letters. Gonads.
Maybe you can ask me a gambling question while the peanut gallery tries to give me a 6-letter word that ends in AD.
I love that. That's a great idea. Okay, so our next question is from Okay, we're just going to do this one. What's the legality for online gambling in California using offshore casinos?
To be honest, I think that it's still illegal in California. You might say, what about sports betting? But I have not heard of sports betting being allowed in California. I think if it was, I would have heard about it. I don't claim to be the foremost expert on the legality in every state and country, but to the best of my knowledge, California still prohibits it.
Okay. And then we'll ask one more question. Can roulette be beaten?
Only, Einstein once said the only way to beat roulette is to steal the chips while the dealer isn't looking, which I pretty much agree with. There are other ways, like by using electronic devices to clock the wheel, or maybe playing a biased wheel, things like that. But there's no way it can be beaten straight up legitimately.
If you want more information on that, Roberto, read the book American Casino. Or no, American Roulette. It's American Roulette by Richard Marcus.
Okay, I want to show you guys the flag of Mexico here.
Ooh,
can you see it? So you can see in the middle there, this is the official emblem of Mexico in the middle, and it shows a snake, an eagle fighting with a snake standing on top of a cactus. Mm-hmm. So the trivia question is, what shall we say is the story or the legend behind this emblem?
Okay. So if you guys know, put that in the chat. And we have 2 more letters that we can do.
Okay.
Is a comrade?
Good guess. Let's see. Spell check doesn't like it, but let's see if my game likes it. Yeah, my game does not respect that as an English word, I'm afraid. I think it should, but I have a list of like 5,000 legitimate words, and I didn't screen every single one.
No worries.
So what was the other word?
Spread?
Sounds like a good one. Okay, that was a good guess. It's not right, but we now know that the last 4 letters are R-E-A-D in that order, and we know there's a T in there somewhere. So we're getting close here, and we have one more turn. So give me a word that ends in R-E-A-D, and there's a T in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm. So while we are waiting for that, we will do another question from the viewers. This one will be a little bit out of order. Speaking of Richard Marcus, isn't there a conference next month?
There is, and I'm speaking at it, by the way.
Ooh, you are. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the Cutting Edge show, and it might not be called that, but that runs from June 6th to June 9th.
Very cool. Okay, so for the answer for your trivia question, the Indians built their capital city where they saw an eagle sitting on a cactus.
That's right.
Woo.
That's right. And there was some legend that whoever their god was said to build your capital where you see an eagle and a cactus fighting on an eagle and a snake fighting on a cactus. And according to the legend, somebody saw that in what is now Mexico City, and that's where they built their capital.
Very interesting.
And it was a nice spot because it's nice up there. It's way up, kind of up high, where it's nice and cool. And there were lakes there at the time. And so, yeah, that is the legend.
Cool. Do you want to do a trivia question, or do you want to do another?
Do we have any guesses on the word?
No guesses on the word. We're still waiting for people on that.
Okay.
Another gambling question?
Yep.
Sounds good. If an AP has an edge on a Carnival game, is there a point where the casino will back off a player?
Let me read that. Well, the rule of thumb is the casino will back off an advantage player for any reason, and they know that people hole card in Carnival games and things like that, and the casinos try to be up to speed on what are the advantage plays in every game. So absolutely, they will back off or trespass players that are using any kind of an advantage play.
Okay. And then let's see if we have any answers for the words.
I see Roberto said thread. That looks pretty good.
Okay, let's try thread.
Okay.
And I'll put this back up as soon as you have it up. There we go.
Here we go. Thread.
Ooh.
Turn 8. Yay, Roberto, you got it. Good job.
Woo-hoo. Now, to be fair, there was someone that said thread earlier, but they made a joke, so I didn't take them seriously and I didn't post it. Sorry, Facts Fair, about that.
Okay,
but good
you
job.
can take us off share screen, or maybe I have to do that.
No, I will do it.
Okay. Yeah, so that is, I call that game Smarty Pants. It's obviously based on the game of Wordle, which you can play at the New York Times website. And it's in front of their paywall, so you don't need to pay to play it. I love Wordle. I play Wordle every day. In fact, practically the first thing I do in the morning is I start to make coffee, I play Wordle, and then I go and by the time I'm done, the coffee will be ready. So I loved Wordle so much, and I could only play it once a day, that I just made my own game. And to make it different, I use 6 letters as opposed to 5. And as you saw at the beginning, you just put in a number from 1 to 100, and that will get associated with a word that I personally approved of. And I'm personally up to game 46. I keep a count right here. And as soon as I play all 100, then I'm going to add more words to it.
That sounds
that are
cool.
possible solutions. So I wanted to share you guys with that because I've worked hard on it because I'm not a big JavaScript expert. And so thought some of you might like it.
I love it. I think
Thanks.
that's fun. I had a good time with that.
I love games.
We could do that instead of trivia on some days.
Yeah. If you find a place where we can play against each other, we should.
That would be fun. Okay, so it is 4 p.m. Do you want to do one last easy question before we end the live stream?
Okay, one last easy question.
Does Michael still play disc golf?
Good question. To be honest, I don't play that often because I just don't have a circle of friends that play. For a while, I kind of got this AP circle of friends into it, but they're scattered all over Vegas, and it's just, it's just hard to get everybody together to play a game. But I enjoy the game. I still kind of suck at it, but I enjoy disc golf. I just need to, it's not that fun playing by yourself. So I'm afraid I haven't played a serious round of disc golf in a long time. Yes, sometimes I play with just one person or by myself, but that's one of the downsides of being a family man and having a job is everybody is just so busy that it takes so much planning to just get 4 or 5 people to do anything that it's just frankly not even worth the bother of trying.
Well, good people anyway.
But yeah.
We tried playing disc golf together, and Mike says he's horrible. I was so much worse than him. Like I was like whoosh, and it would just go flying. And he's like, you realize that it's over there. It's not, this way. We're going this way.
Yeah, it's a hard game. But I've been playing it ever since I was a kid. I think that I could be wrong about this, but I think the very first disc golf course was in Huntington Beach, California, which was only about several miles from where I grew up. So my dad would take me and my brothers there a lot and play.
That's really neat. Yeah.
So I have fond memories of the game. But good question. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. So when is the next time we are going to do another live stream?
Let's see here. How about 2 weeks on May 19th?
Sounds good. Same bad time, same bad channel?
Yep. So
beautiful.
Thank you guys for showing up. Thanks for all your questions and participation. Let me give you a Matea Roach goodbye. She goes something like this.
Oh,
but she's so perfect. Cute the way she does it. It's
Love
3
that.
fingers together with the pinky sticking out.
I need a GIF of this now. I need a GIF of this.
Okay. I'll stop so you can get a good one. There you go.
Perfect.
And in case you're wondering who Matea Roach is, she is the current Jeopardy champion, and she's probably the cutest Jeopardy champion there has ever been.
She's supposed to be the youngest, right?
Yeah, she's quite young too, and just the sweetest girl.
Nice. Again, please join us on our next live stream. If we didn't answer your question, it happens. We apologize. Just come back on the next one and answer your question then. The sooner you get your question in, the more likely it will be answered. And Mike, it was great seeing you.
Great to see you too, Heather. So enjoy the rest of your Cinco de Mayo.
You too.
And thanks again, audience, for coming. And I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.